Are you ready to strum some guitars? Are you ready to have some Music City thrilling action? Well, you're in the right city at the very least. It's the Music City 200 tonight, the Castle Glass Company Series, part of the Mystic Racing League, as they are just about all set to go racing from Nashville Fairgrounds. I'm Justin Prince on fill-in tonight is Nolan Rempel. Dustin Ellis is our producer here for this evening's coverage as we get ready to go from one of the more classic tracks you'll find here in the Southeast. Racing in Tennessee, always entertaining, Nolan. But of course, this racetrack, the birthplace of many stars, Darrell Waltrip, the Marlins, many others have raced here over the years.
It is a racetrack that is near and dear to many fans throughout Nashville and, of course, throughout the racing world. This track's future was in jeopardy some time ago. It looks like it is pulling through the tough times now, though, and we get set to go racing another iconic circuit here this afternoon. From one of the older short tracks here in North America all the way out to one of the newer street circuits, the Chicago Street Circuit, coming up just a week from today with a 45-lap count on the cards.
And we know how that racetrack can be in terms of difficulty. You also have a couple other races coming up because we're getting close to that chase cutoff. Zach White just ahead of the cut line coming in, plus 1 point. Over to Sean Merriman, Jeff Ryan, Douglas Wysocki, also in good spirits and good chances, Nolan. It's razor thin. And the 77, who's had a roller coaster of a year in all MRL competition, just looking to hold on.
We're in that point of the season where every single race matters, and you do not want to be coming in here with only a 1 or 2 point gap. You want to be making it further up the field. The problem for Zach White, Morgan Cook, 30 points up the board from him, meaning that White's effectively on the cutoff spot for quite some time now, and he's going to have a lot of work ahead of him if he wants to get out of that final bump spot. Right now, all he can realistically do, build the gap to Merriman and Ryan, and hope it's enough.
Absolutely, and keep in mind, as you would expect with teams like Unacceptable Racing and Accelerated Motorsports 1-2 with their drivers, well, they are still 1-2, and one has turned out to be a pretty fierce battle because we've seen some of the Accelerated Motorsports make starts, but not as many. Devin Curl, remember, has started off the season with some starts. Haven't seen him since. So River Hayes, for much of the points tally, has held on to second on his own. Unacceptable Racing has both the Rhines a part of their effort for comparison's sake. That's why those 2 points leaders have propelled their respective groups to the top. Waterforce Racing is more of a team effort, Nolan, with so many drivers in the postseason conversation, including drivers like Barnes and Hinson, that are propelling them to some good finishes to keep up. Combined with those 3 teams, they picked about 8 of the victories so far this season.
The gap being only, 24 points after 18 rounds of racing really does go to show the absolute fierce competition that these guys have on offer for the afternoon. And that competition is going to come to a head here at the Fairgrounds.
So qualifying already complete, and it shouldn't be a surprise your pole sitter, River Hayes, another short track racing pole. Alongside him, your points leader, Tommy Ryan, looking to strike once again, the 3-time race winner. Brian Pelfrey starts in row number 2. Took a lot of time in practice. He looks to be fast alongside JP Phillips inside your top 4 positions. Noah Hubbard, he's made some one-off starts this season in some appearances. His open car's been fast when he's appeared. Zachary Kane looking to continue success in the Southeast. Morgan Cook is in fill-in tonight, not in race control. He's jumped into the 39 car for this evening. Andrew Schob is amongst those in the top 8. Technically speaking, Morgan Cook is still above the cut line. Dustin Lewis is making an appearance tonight in the 88 car, and a debut appearance for Simon Kander, the Polish driver, starts in 10.
Back there in 11th place, it's Christian Barnes with the Domino's number 27 Mustang. He stands alongside Dominic Rossi out of the U.S. in his Camaro. Row number 7, Adam Holston. Down to 13th, Jeff Ryan in 14th. Continuing down to row number 8, it's Dave Billings alongside Chris Taylor. Row 9 on the grid, it's going to be Jonathan Giucheri alongside David Moyer. Top 20 on the field, headed out this afternoon by Reggie Kime and Brad Collier.
21st, you'll find Harold Tucker III there in a patriotic 79 scheme alongside Jacob Cochran. He was near 9/10 off the pole. Zach White was the last driver to take a time tonight. He'll look to wrap the car in bubble wrap. Ashton Crowder, he's on probation after some various situations on Discord. He's starting 24th. Two drivers are not in session, Luke Barnes and Brendan Woodward. That's why we see a little bit of shuffling. Woodward, I should say, is rolling. Drivers like Alex Young will also roll. We also had Luke Barnes make the grid. So a few drivers in the final moments just made it in time to grid up. The field itself is getting ready for an interesting 200 lapper from Nashville. Race control going over the final conversations before we get rolling tonight. But of course, Music City racing action going to be always the more entertaining. Your thoughts and keys to victory?
Oh, that is going to be it's such a tough thing to call when you're at the National Fairgrounds Speedway, right? I think the big one's going to be patience, 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 and watch for turn 4. That fierce bump on the turn 4 exit catches drivers out every time we come here tonight is, I'm willing to bet, going to be no exception.
55, 110, then the end for the stage distances tonight. So the first two stages in even 55 apiece. Will the field behave tonight from Nashville Fairgrounds? We're going to find out. Happy to have you with us for tonight's coverage. You're on Green Flag TV. It's the Mystic Racing League, the Caswell Class Company Series. The Green Flag is out. We're underway from Nashville. Look at Tommy on the outside, keeping it steady. He got the edge of the stripe to start. It's the 99 with the first lead lap of the evening. But it's Hayes keeping the pressure up on the inside. How long does that last? It ends by turn 3. You can use the higher grooves a bit here, Nolan. We see that for the lead already.
Hayes gave it a good effort down the inside of 1 and 2. Just wasn't able to carry the momentum, though, down the back straightaway. Ryan, no surprise, fastest lap so far on the day. That's no doubt going to trade hands in a little while. Smoke at the tail of the field. And looking like Alex Young slow at the tail end of the field. Might have had an issue entering the opening corner.
Hill 4 also having issues. Brennan Willard. He'll peel on down because he's also the race control tonight. So a start and park situation. He was known, very importantly, in the conversation to maybe try and point his way in the next few weeks into the chase. That's not the case. But what's happened? See what happened to Luke Barnes. The 04 car gets loose.
Oh boy, does a great job to pull it up though before he loses the back end. He would have gone into the inside wall, but got the slide and dragged that car back underneath him. So still racing this one out. Lap 6 of 200 for Tommy Ryan, River Hayes, and JP Phillips as the field continuing to run this one out in the 3 and 4.
Still going good for the 99 machine. JP Phillips in third, Belfry. Hubbard rolling the top 5. Those 5 working together within about a 1 second cushion around the racetrack here to begin this one off. But Hubbard, if you think back to Irwindale, very feisty race back of the day over there. He's also been fast at drivers tracks like Outdoor that comes to mind. Some of his stops or appearances, should say, in various MRL series. But the 4 machine tonight keeping pretty steady to start off. The race lead, though, already the inside may be coming to play here. Hayes is at the door. He's alongside. Race lead now in the hands of the 81.
River Hayes back to the point as Tommy Ryan trying to challenge back to him. Only 0.2 of a second between them, right on board with Ryan as he cruises out of 3 and 4. JP Phillips trailing about 0.4 of a second behind the leading 2. And River Hayes, for the time being, moving the line up a little bit to try to get that diamond arc coming out of turn 2.
Still riding their way through 3 and 4. Already about 10 laps in the action. approaching the 4th of July weekend, or Canada Day finishing up yesterday, depending on what holiday you may celebrate. It's a patriotic day for some of the competitors coming up this weekend, but for now, it's single file as they roll their way through 3 and 4. Right now, the average pace already seeing 2 to 3 tenths of fall off. Let's take a look. This is deeper down the order. This Arby's machine looking to try and move forward. This is the back of the train, 25th.
Alex Young had that slip up earlier in the race, was slow out turn 4 about 10 laps ago. And now all the way down 25th place as they try to get this one up and rolling. Doing a good job on at least trying to apply some pressure to Brad Collier just up the road. Zach White, you see him way up the racetrack in 1 and 2. Jumping back up to watch the battle for third between Pelfrey and Phillips.
Pelfrey taking some pokes. Still trying to find a way to clear. Hubbard on the squeeze. Hubbard trying to find a way to keep himself at least in a position where he's in the positive. That's not happening quite yet, though. Still defending with the high side. But obviously, one of the major things we're going to also be keeping an eye on is how these teams manage the tire sets, Nolan. If you get certain points of caution, remember, in theory, let's say this goes green or you keep yourself on the racetrack to 55. You take a set at 55, then you take a set at 110. There are 4 total sets available in the pits tonight. Easy math says you have 2 sets to work with for 90 laps later on in the race. Another bobble for Luke Barnes.
Boy, Barnes is struggling with turn number 4. It's been several laps now. We've seen that car kick sideways, and again, that time catching the wall up in turn number 2 as he came to the back straightaway. So Luke Barnes struggling to keep the back end of his 04 underneath him. And I have a feeling it's too much throttle power that he's putting on exit here.
Look at the gear, though. See how Barnes is rolling in third. Now, this is an interesting thing you're going to keep an eye on for some of the tracks like this. Because, depending on the setup builder, especially if you go away from the iRacing fixed setups, which tonight it is a custom setup. Barnes loose! Holds onto it. That was near disaster. He is struggling with this set. It's a 3rd gear set with the way the gearing ratio is set, Nolan, and a couple drivers are struggling with it.
On those lower gears, right, they got a lot more torque to them, so you're getting a lot more kick to the back end that these guys are likely not used to. Of course, you traditionally run these cars in the 4th gear. Now we're side by side, 2 rows deep down the back straightaway as the Bucky is number 21. Trying to make something happen here. That is Chris Taylor trying to fight this one out for 17th. Crash in the back.
No caution yet. There it is. Caution flag is out. And the leaders will check up on the brakes. Alex Young, Brad Collier, and very importantly, Christian Barnes is in it. One of your better drivers in the point standings coming into this weekend. Remember, the 27 already dealing with damage.
Take a ride on board. This is with the 76, as just got a bit of a tap from the Domino's 27 and a secondary shot to the driver's side door. Gonna have to keep an eye out for under the car for suspension damage on that one. That was a pretty nasty hit.
Right there, got into the fender. And in the checkup, got ping pong back into the 76. Caution charged to Alex Young because, oh my goodness, Luke Barnes drove into the barrier.
Oh, no.
Well,
oh no!
I don't know if that was intentional. I think he just straight missed pit road. You know why? The pit wall is pretty difficult to hit. Now, this is why Barnes got the damage with the 28 driving on in.
And like you said, it's a difficult pit road to get down. The entry is just barely wide enough for one car, and it's a lot tighter than you think. And yeah, just locked up the fronts on the way in. It reminds me a lot about the pit entry at Dover Motor Speedway, right? It's much tighter than a lot of people think it is. It's a lot earlier than a lot of people think it is, and it catches somebody out every time we come out here. Oh, he hit the inside wall.
That's what I was about to say. He did touch that inside wall while trying to carry a lot of speed. Ricochet effect into the pit wall. It's why Barnes is now out of the race. So we're under caution for the first time here tonight. We'll take a very quick step aside. Coverage continues right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Green Flag TV. Tonight's coverage continues of CGC as Ryan and Hayes ready to battle it on out. They chose only two people down pit road, Jacob Cochran and Christian Barnes, who both had moments and have rolled the dice to see how far they can go after 14-second pit stops. Green flag is off and away for the 81. This time in control of the restart zone. The leader already with a heavy jump. Look at Phillips trying to keep it alongside. Couldn't do it.
So Hayes, Ryan out 1-2. Then it's Phillips and Hubbard racing side by side for the number 3 spot. Side by side as well for 5th, for 7th and 9th, all the way down the field. Battle for 3rd. You can see Hubbard trying to pinch. Phillips trying to pinch and Hubbard on the inside. But Hubbard not having it, and he's trying to make that inside lane work for him.
Now you see just how much that center roll keeps coming into play for that 4 machine. Make the inroads. A little slide up this time by Hubbard. Compare that to the front straightaway. These drivers around here carrying speeds of up to 130 miles an hour by the end of the straightaway tonight.
It's speeds that, while they're not nearly the speeds you run at the track like Las Vegas or like even the Nashville Super Speedway, they are still immense for a tiny little half mile like this one. It makes it really feel like this track is not a half mile in length, but rest assured it very much is. As up the racetrack up top, that's Adam Holston. Morgan Cook trying to make something work on the inside near contact as Holston came off the outside wall. Cook tucks in a line with 8th.
Few loose moments here and there for a couple of the drivers, but the Canadian of Cook is one of those that's drifting the rears, trying to settle the car down. 39 again with a bobble, this time right in front of the newcomer in Candor. Cook is really fighting this machine. The rears are going off on that 39. Watch every entry right there, how it swings.
And up at the head of this group, you can also see Zachary King started to become a bit of a cork in the bottle here, starting to check everyone up behind him, while Pelfrey on up with the top 5 started to break away. So at what point does Adam Holston start to get a little bit dicey here in that battle for the number 6 spot? Morgan Cook was having to look out a little bit behind for Candor, but now able to worry about going back on offense against Holston.
Holston and are one of those that is trying to fight the race machine, trying to use a little bit higher up on the track, but as a result, having to let the car roll a little bit more center off to avoid slamming up into that barrier. Those are the gives and take kinds of games you have to play line-wise tonight, because that outside wall can come up and get you pretty quickly.
Outside lane, or that outside wall, going to be a doozy here this afternoon, as it so often is at races at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Got a quick look at the speed shot with how fast these cars are ripping off the top side of turn number 4. Up front, the 92 of Simon Kander tried to have a look to the inside of Cook. No joy out of turn 2.
Still nothing going in terms of this battle. For reference, by the way, Christian Barnes stayed at the back of the field out of those who came down pit road and kept back racing. But Jacob Cochran has at least driven himself to 16th. He's looking for 15th, in fact, right now at the moment, beside Chichuri. And look at the dive, nearly to the fender. Cochran trying to push a little bit here. As you see, he's willing to get aggressive. He's got Jeff Ryan and Ashton Crowder up the road too.
Cochran still continuing to get something going, and a bit of contact up front as Gyashuri fights his way past the outside of Jeff Ryan after a bit of door-to-door contact. So the 15 desperate to get above it. They're coming behind hard into the inside wall, and that is looks like it's the 14 around. Zach White goes into the inside wall as well.
Even when he's able to keep it clean, it seems to rain hard wherever the 77 ends up going. He's not had great luck is what I'm trying to say. He's blown the motor from that contact in the secondary incident, but Billings was bottoming out hard, snapped loose out of 2, ricochets back up the track.
Hard shot into the inside wall, and then Zach White locked it up just trying to avoid the incident. He slams the inside wall and will pop a motor as well. So 2 more cars down pit road. Noah Hubbard is among them.
Well, car 77, it rains, it pours. By the way, yeah, this is the driver on the bubble for your chase right now.
You also heard the wheel hop that White had going in there, completely locked the rears. There was a couple of points where those back tires did not have contact with the pavement. Oh, such a tough break for Zach White. Again, like you said, needing to have a good day today to get himself out of a jam. This is the exact opposite of what he was hoping for.
And even though the nose looks okay, it's just the fact that it had such a velocity and angle that it popped the motor. He did take the fast repair, but he is pinned a lap down. So we're almost through the stage, by the way. We have less than 15 to go this time by. River Hayes has led 33 of the laps so far. 7 led by Tommy Ryan. It's looking pretty good if you are able to stay up at the front and remain pretty quick here, to say the least, Nolan. It's pretty hard to relinquish that lead, especially with the way you get the jump as the control car to settle in single file.
This track is one that certainly benefits those that are in the lead, especially if you're able to control both lanes. As you see drivers starting to go for the choose.
I don't know if the 99 shows at the right time or not. I think he was at the middle. Here's the thing. I almost wonder if he ever got there choosing that time. So, choose violation. Tommy Ryan to the back.
Oh, no. Tough break was one of the heavy hitters. And yeah, you saw he definitely was making that move way too late. Have both sides of the car, not the side of the dotted white line at the time they hit start finish.
All the way to the tail of the inside line, coming to 1 to go for the restart. That'll put Tommy Ryan 22nd on the lead lap. And behind the lap cars that are in the field of White, Collier, and Billings as well. Well, technically, we'll get passed by Billings right now, who took the fast repair. But up at the front, it's Hayes, Phillips, Pelfrey, Holston, King, the top 5. Kander, Cook, Lewis, Schob, along with Cochran in your top 10. Cochran's strategy play is working out pretty well, albeit aggressive with the tire set usage. We'll see how far that 51 gets. River Hayes is clear up front for the lead.
Clear by a long shot as well. Already at least 2 car lanes clear. They're fighting it out between Phillips and Pelfrey for best of the rest.
A little bit of door contact there, it looked like maybe. Cochran got a little close on the entry apex to King. King keeping it up for the battle going on for the 4th spot. But these bumps making it hard to keep the pinch down that King's attempting here. Holston still battling the bumps. Pelfrey now up to second for the first time today.
Pelfrey having a good day at the office, a little bit sideways behind as Adam Holston having a moment as he tried to look down the inside of Zachary King. That 48 car has also been getting a little bit twitchy these last few laps out of turn 4 in particular. You reckon if that bump might be causing drivers a few more issues?
Yeah, I've seen the same thing for Candor also. A few of these drivers are definitely fighting their cars. Now, one extra thing to note here. 2 different drivers at the back of the field did take tire sets. Those drivers that took that call, Noah Hubbard, Jonathan Giacherri. Those drivers, watch to see if they flip the stage here, because we're already under single digits left to go in the stage. JP Phillips trying to hold on. There's Candor with a pop out. Morgan Cook to his outside, trying to set up the diamond. Couldn't get the cut, but pressurizes the bumper.
Closing in on the 1/4 distance marker of this race, so it's not going to be too much longer before drivers start to get to that point where sooner rather than later they're going to have to start making moves. We have less than 10 laps to go in stage 1, coming to a close at the end of 55.
Oh, a little near contact there. Andrew Schob trying to push it 3 wide. Jacob Cochran trying to pass by to get to 9th. Now looking for 8th. Cochran's been trying to pick them off, and it should be a surprise that Ashton Crowder is moving to this field. Remember, though, the former eNASCAR driver did say he did not really have the experience here. He's made his way into the stage point territory, though, in the 44. He has been the disruptor, if you will, for the point status quo, as door-to-door contact 39 and 45. Inside, Schob holds onto it.
Good job on holding on to it for the inside for Andrew Schob. And now looking for 3.5 laps to go in stage number 1. If you're going to want to get into the points, that time has to come right now. Schob without a lot of time. Zachary King under pressure for the 4th place spot from Holston. Holston again loose out of turn 4, and he's going to drop anchor.
Yeah, this has turned out to be a pretty intriguing first stage, but it's been one dominated by River Hayes for the most part. 2 to go in the stage. Keeps now 7/10 up for the stage lead. Pit road is now closed. The 81 looks to keep the distance. Remember, just one win in the series for him. As we come to 1 to go, you can see how Schob is just trying to hold on, while others like Phillips look to battle coming to the white flag in stage 1.
Final lap in the opening stage of the afternoon. River Hayes still out in front. Pelfrey second by 3/4 of a second. Hayes is going to have no competition in 4.
So River Hayes is coming out of the corner and picking up a stage. Is River Hayes, Pelfrey, Phillips, Kane, Holston, Crowder, Cochran, Candor, Cook, Lewis. Your top 10. Now,
Good stuff for the opening stage. Made pretty good time on that one.
yeah, I was about to say, now we should see 4 tires for much of the field, but we might see at least 3 think about trying to keep it out on the racetrack. We'll find out if they do follow that flip of the stage advice. Remember, they are talking 15 lap order tires if they do it, though. Let's find out for certain. Hayes will lead them down. Avoid the wall this time. And Zachary King stays out? Question?
I mean, he's seen how much River Hayes has been able to control these races up front. Crowder also staying out. Cochran staying out. Cook staying out. I got to be honest, I like the experimentation, right? I mean, you've seen how powerful being out in front with these restarts is. Why not give it a try? You never know. You could be able to hold on to this one to the end of the second stage.
Hayes took fuel only, and that's a play that's interesting too. Obviously thinking there might be a lot of cautions maybe, because by stage 3, if he's able to make it work where he takes the first set by the end of stage 2, he has a tire set every 30 laps if it becomes a caution fest.
There's also the factor as well, you know, despite these guys running for 55 laps now, we've had a good chunk of that number be under the yellow flag. We've only had, like, what, maybe 35 green flag laps, give or take. That's not enough to really warrant a change of tires on a short track like this.
Going to confirm to make sure the fuel number, because it's 60%, remember, for tonight's fuel limit in these cars. It is throughout the majority of the season. Now, there is an interesting note, because remember two things. One, the track is pretty hot for it being a late evening race. That's going to impact things, along with the wind conditions. But more importantly, in the past we were discussing, was Ashton Crowder going to be maybe playoff eligible? If he makes it, I got a clarification from race control. He is playoff/chase eligible in the 44 car. Nolan, here is the wild thing, as I think they're not choosing yet, for those wondering. The 44 of Crowder is going to be one to watch for the rest of this way, because here's the thing. If he gets enough points tonight, he can make the chase in 6 races compared to the 18 of, say, a Zach White on the cut line, as long as he finishes up front.
He would need to have one hell of a 6-week streak, but like you said, I mean, just because you need that doesn't mean it's not doable. I mean,
No.
You and I have seen some very crazy things. Remember the High Tide Racing League last season, where we had Jaden Hopp go on a 5-race winning streak, or what was set to be a 5-race winning streak. It's one of those things where you got to kind of imagine that with these pro guys, anything can be possible.
I mean, maybe I should rephrase that point for Crowder. He can make that with only 5 starts so far. That's how significantly fast Crowder's been, with 4 victories in 5 races, and he is one of the 3 who did stay out on the racetrack without pitting once yet. Cochran, he's about 40 laps in. We know he pit in the first caution flight. Christian Barnes was in an incident. He also pit a second time. Noah Hubbard, he's also part of the flip of the stage strategy. River Hayes, Jonathan Giacherri. Then it's Holston and Pelfrey amongst those in the top 10. What this field is going to do for the fuel mileage, it becomes a big lottery possibly for the top 3. But let's see how far they go. They got to make it a 110. If they make it a 110, well, it's going to be a lot more easier to make it 90. Let's put it that way. Back underway we go. King got a decent jump, but Crowder timed it up well. He's going for the lead.
Crowder down the inside. Zachary King still holding the outside line. He's going to pull around him on the exit of turn number 2. Not able to clear him, though. Crowder still with the inside into 3 and 4. And the minus number 44 still side by side for the lead out of turn 4.
Ashton Crowder trying to go from the back to the front. Up the track, King bottomed out. Slams the wall. The 1 drops down to 3rd. Noah Hubbard is now going after it, and he's got fresher tires. Christian Barn up the track. Hubbard down the track. Nearly spins it as he goes for the lead.
Boy, guys, they're not even close to the end of stage 2. We don't need to be racing quite this aggressively. Crowder, he thought about the over-under there in turn 2, ended up backing out. So it's going to be Hubbard, Crowder, King for the top 3. They're now single file in. It's side by side for 4th place behind between Hayes and Cochran.
Oh, a big trouble. It's Morgan Cook. Kander also up the racetrack. Kander may have been involved with that causation. Cook now dealing with damage. They're running in the top 10. Can confirm Cook got a bump from the rookie in his first start of the season. Take a look at it here.
There's Cook, and oh yeah, Kander had a helping hand in that one, all right.
I mean, bright side, he let him save it.
I don't know if I would count it a save if he pancakes the wall like that, though.
Like I said, it's the eye of the beholder that sees that thought process. In all seriousness, though, right now, River Hayes with his call of fuel only. 4th in, there goes the 45. It's Shobe. Caution flag is out after a hit to the inside wall. We're back under yellow.
Oh, that bump gonna catch him out and see him nose to the inside wall. At least did a good job to lock it down and minimize the damage. So it could have been a far worse incident for Andrew Schob down on the inside of the racetrack.
Working with Adam Holston tonight, or at least chatting with him. He's alongside Phillips in this situation, and we've seen this a couple times already. Car on the inside, gets loose. This time he nearly hit the fender of the 51 possibly.
I think you might be right. It was very close to yourself and Jacob Cochran.
Hold on a second. 51. Charged with the caution?
What?
Yeah, he got loose and then go to the wall.
Oh, okay. That explains it. The onboards always have a much more revealing tail than the TV cameras do.
River Hayes is in, and he is taking tires. The interesting about this racetrack, he does not actually have a pit wall for his box. But Morgan Cook also coming in with his contact. Christian Barnes again coming down. Interesting call for the 81. 4 tires. Doesn't take fuel. About 15 laps later, or 10 laps later after pace laps, elects to take a set, and Noah Hubbard is up in front. Crowder and Kane staying on the racetrack still out of those who are yet to come into pit.
This is kind of turning into what I kind of was envisioning up front, right? I mean, you've seen how much that front line can work. Why not stay out there and pick up some points in stage number 2 here? Now, granted, Hubbard did get around them, but they're still running second and third after almost 20 laps of running into the second stage here.
If they make it a 110, I don't think we're seeing green flag stops in stage 3, and then only stops for fuel. Choose. By the way, you may have noticed Tommy Ryan was in the back for a second time. He's had 2 choose violations now tonight. The last restart, he got one. This time, he gets it right.
You know what they say, third time's the charm. So, not seeing any violations on this one. Everyone being nice and orderly. One car at the back, a little bit of a decision. Eventually makes a hesitant look to stay down on the inside line. As will be 1 to green this time by.
And Crowder saying, hey, why are we this far back to the pace car? Let's pit the gas, please. He'll catch up to the pace car along with Hubbard. And we'll restart to start lap 75. That'll put us 126 to go in the race. Still, though, up at the front, Hubbard, Crowder, King, Giachery amongst those in the top 4 seats. Then you also throw Pelfrey, Holston, Lewis, Phillips, Jeff Ryan. Harold Techner the third, the top 10. Did we get a clean run this time? Leaders at the very least are saying, more fuel saving, please. Let's see if that's indeed the case. Green, green, green. We're back on our way. And now the 4 up in front, able to clear. Crowder on very old tires. Keeps it in second, third for King, but Holston and Co. are trying to swarm. Those runs coming from the inside here, Nolan, right now, because at the moment, you have to keep in mind the 15 right now at 36 lap old tires, including all the pace laps. Holston is the first on the newest set of tires out of those for the majority rules pit stop theory.
A little bit of a loose moment there from the 15 of Jonathan Giachery. So 15 car having yet another slip up through turns 3 and 4 down the front straightaway. He's trying to challenge against Adam Holston. And Ryan Pelfrey up to the top shelf as well at the number 31. Also under fire, Zachary King with the number 3 spot. Try as he may. Zachary King's 78 lap old tires at the start of the race. Finally going to come back to bite him a huge loose moment out of turn 2.
Almost wonder if that was because of what was going on off the corner, because he and Holston both went up the hill. No contact to the door of the 48, but surely they both pushed their mark so much they both traveled upwards. Look at this.
Oh, yeah, striking the outside wall, and I can definitely see Kane getting a little bit crossed up. Just getting a little bit nervous, and now some 3 wide, or at least they were looking for it for a moment down the front straightaway. Kane now just struggling to stay inside the top 10.
Tommy Ryan really trying to make a recovery drive from his penalties. Self-inflicted. That's usually the case when it comes to a driver that has rapid speed. The biggest mistakes, the ones they seem to make. But Phillips has been toe-to-toe with him in a lot of the races also. At least short run. Here in a crash, it's Tucker to the third. He's been able to save it though. We stay green. Tucker to the third. Having a moment to the inside barrier. Got help.
That was the 45 of Andrew Schob that caught him on the right rear quarter panel as they came down in a turn. It was 1 and 2. Did a great job to recover it though as he scrambled down to the inside of the racetrack.
And as they all try and square themselves away, remember River Hayes took a peculiar choice on strategy. He's just behind this pack right here. See, Hayes right now is marching through the order with car 99 Tommy Ryan. They are gaining at least 2 to 3 car lengths per corner on the Lewis and Jeff Ryan battle. That's how much they're fighting in front of them. Oh, and Tommy Ryan knocked the wall down, nearly climbed it.
Hey, was able to get some speed out of that at least. Got around River Hayes just fine. Up at the front, third place, up for grabs. Adam Holston round the outside of Ryan Pelfrey. They'll continue the battle. This one out 2 by into turn numbers 1 and 2. Bit of a moment there for Holston as he flashes into a different plane of existence. Reappears still to the top side of Pelfrey.
Here's the live look at what's going on behind. River Hayes still trying to jump up. Fresher tires, does get the roll. And it's Hayes now looking to take away 8th. This is going to be getting more and more staggering the difference here and there on tires from here. You see the 81 just looking for the place to go. Has to check up for Jeff Ryan a fair bit still.
River Hayes, Dustin Lewis still side by side, and now, oh my goodness, forcing Jeff Ryan into the mix of this. As Ryan had a slip up from the inside. Trouble behind. It's the 5 going around to the tail of the field. Check that, the 45 of Shobe going around at the tail end.
Andrew Schob again going around. This time, he made contact to Zachary Kane, and this may be a racing deal. We'll see what race control says. Because here's the thing. Came up 45, but the 1 also was going lower.
You know the old saying, 1 coming up, 1 going down, 1 going around. And in this case, that 1 going around was Andrew Shelby down on the inside of the racetrack.
And Crowder is pitting from second. Hearing race control making a call on the radio. Kane also came in. So the drivers who try to gamble, just now taking their first set. Now, can't confirm racing deal was race control's call, by the way, Nolan. But this caution flag makes it intriguing with about 111 to go this time for Kane, who's going to get damage repair possibly. No, he just got the full service, just about it. Ashton Crowder taking the full service. Justin Lewis took fuel only.
Okay, then. So some drivers still playing games with the tire and the fuel strategies. You have to wonder if maybe they're trying to save some of that momentum for later on in the race. Make sure they have enough for an overtime attempt if necessary. I'd argue fresh tires wouldn't do that much. I don't see the reason to only take fuel right now.
Let's talk about some of the upcoming broadcasts, why don't we, too? Because remember, it's the 4th of July weekend this weekend, Nolan. And that means it's pretty short. There's only 3 races in the next week or so. That includes High Tide Racing League on the Monday. They're at Homestead, which should be a fun race for the trucks. Then Silver Fox Racing Late Model Championship action is at good old Lakeland, USA International Speedway. Then PSR Turns at Lime Rock Park. Are you ready to eat some lime on a rock? No, that makes no sense, but it will eventually. Either way, those are your upcoming broadcasts.
I'm not even a lime guy anyway, let alone if it's on a rock. Oh, that was a little close from one of those drivers at the choose. Not sure if that counted as a violation. I think he had the full car on the inside, but I don't know, a little bit dicey on that one.
And the field will try and get set up. Race control just gave a warning to the field, warning to the 76 because they were essentially side by side. Alex Young apologized on the radio. Noah Hubbard and Ryan Pelfrey over the front. Holston, Giacherri, Phillips, Hayes, the Rhines. Dominic Rossi, Morgan Cook is now in the top 10 after his repairs earlier. And here comes the next question. Hubbard obviously getting the chance to control things, but with 18 to go coming up in the stage, Nolan, it's anyone's guess who actually has the control of the race in of itself by the time we roll through the chunk of stage 3. Back it away.
Still have about 20 laps left to go as well as Hubbard takes off with the number 1 spot. 3 wide into turn number 1 up the racetrack. Going to go, I believe that was the 32 of Phillips as he almost catches the outside wall.
Indeed, some moments popping up to start. The Italian still trying to find a way to hold off Hayes, but Hayes really hungry to pick up some more stage points possibly. Oh, it'll bounce off the door his fellow Toyota Supra though. It's the battle of the Supras, the highest running Toyotas, 4th and 5th.
Getting a little bit crossed up between the duo here as Jonathan and the number 15 continue to fight to the outside of River Hayes. Hayes has been one of the dominant cars today. Crashing in the back. They managed to catch it, though, as 3 wide again out of turn number 2.
Heard that was on me, I think, from Morgan Cook on the radio. And they're all able to hold on to it. Here ready to bump the 7. They were able to keep steady. Let's see what happened here. Well, there was definitely a bump. Great save. In front of the field, Nolan.
No kidding. That was absolutely phenomenal for the two of them. That could have been an absolute disaster. So great job on these guys to wrangle that machine, those machines back underneath them. As the number 7 with Dominic Rossi here, he might be having some connection difficulties. He's in the midst of a fight with Dustin Lewis, Ashton Crowder, King, and more.
Race control is now warning them inside wall. Shoaib just parked it on the front straightaway. No caution. We stay green. And the 45's done for the night. Involved in a couple of slides and spins. Battle for second still heating up. Battle as well with Crowder's drive up for stage points now for 11th with Lewis. Also, we have trouble at the front. Ryan Pelfrey's to the inside. Another crash. Kander's in the inside wall. They're still checking up with no caution yet. David Moyer hit the back end of a car. He's got heavy damage and the old flag is out.
Caution out once again after a pretty wild ride this time through.
At least 2 or 3 unrelated incidents under one caution, Nolan.
Oh, dear. Take a look this time through. This is the 92. Caught the 3 of Jeff Ryan. That's what spun him hard to the inside wall. And lucky that he didn't get struck as he came back up the racetrack.
Couple hard hits there on the outside as they try to drive on by. Ryan Pelfrey, this is the mention, got loose. He was nearly the caution, just avoided the wall. Noah Hubbard hit from the lead. He doesn't need the stage points, but hey, if this gets you to the stage lead in about 10 laps time, why not?
Hey, take advantage of this where you can, right? I mean, you never quite know how this one's going to pan out, and it's been a wild race this afternoon. Just how we like to see it, having a good afternoon for a good chunk of the field, but I'd imagine some drivers get a little bit more twitchy with how the racing has been as of late.
Sun's still over the racetrack, too. Interesting how drivers like David Moyer are still on the racetrack with their damage from the stack up might come down during the stage break more so than anything. Cochran also got some contact from it. Under 10 to go, as we mentioned, in the stage. And so, Adam Holston, first time of the night, is inside the top spot. Yet to get a win this season, but he's been solidly consistent. He's been here for all the races, which is partly why he's top 3 in the points coming in, but also he's had a solid average rating that's put him amongst the top 5 drivers here this season out of those who have made most of the races this season. And they'll choose. How do you feel the 48 is going to hold back the pressure? River Hayes, remember, a little bit fresher tires coming out.
I don't know. I mean, River Hayes has been such a controlling car, and he's been doing a good job on offense as well, slowly cutting through the field. I think if you're Holston, you just got to look guys front. If you're lucky enough, you'll get a caution that brings this stage to a premature conclusion.
It's definitely going to be one of those types of ends of the stage, if you will, where you have so many different plays in the strategy. You have a lot of different drivers who may stay out. This is becoming a roulette of strategies yet again. Here's the thing. You want to make sure you don't zero yourself out with those green spaces. In our words, the disaster space for this type of a race where everybody will be put into a madness rotation. But right now, Holston, Hayes, Giucherri, and Phillips, along with Tommy Ryan, Christian Barnes, Jeff Ryan, Ashton Crowder, Zachary King, Justin Lewis will try and hold on to their top 10 spots here as we are going to have a 5-lap dash to end this stage. Holston, green, back underway. Hayes spun the tires.
Still have some time to get this one up and sorted as we fight our way into turn numbers 1 and 2. Holston clear by a car and a half. Hayes a quarter second down the field. It'll be 4 laps to go in stage number 2. This time by the line, we're over halfway home.
As we zip our way past halfway by a few laps now, Crowder, Alonso's trying to go. Got a little close. Some checkups with Tommy Ryan. Coming up to 3 to go on the stage.
Boy, a little bit dicey there in that scramble for the lead, but they still have time as we rocket our way back around. Turn numbers 1 and 2. Hayes has the inside, looking for it with 2 to go.
Hayes looking to try and sweep the first 2 stages. Holston trying to help out his point spot. Nearly snapped it around. 2 to go in the stage. 2 to go in stage number 2. Tommy Ryan has been able to recover up to the front. He's still fighting hard for P3. 1 to go, stage 2.
1 lap still left to be run as they head to the back, to the front straightaway out into turn numbers 1 and 2. Hayes still at the top spot. It's all the battle for third now as Ryan forces the issue into the number 3 spot.
He wanted the spot. Will defend for third with a bit of a block. But it's River Hayes yet again holding back the pack. White checker flag for Cardi 1. Holston, Ryan, Giucherri, Phillips, Crowder, King, Barnes. Amongst the top 8, Jeff Ryan. Also finished behind Dustin Lewis. It was close for the 81, 48, 99, 15, 32, 44, 1, 27, 88, and 3. Stage 3 coming up, Nolan.
Absolutely fantastic stuff there as well. Good hard race, but very respectful at the tail end. Now we've got under 90 laps to go. Very few drivers have used those quick repairs on access for them this race, which means we're about to enter a whole new ball game here. Here comes everyone into pit road.
Not everyone, but a lot of drivers, I think is what you're looking to say. But Crowder and King amongst those who stay out. Noah Hubbard, Ryan Pelfrey. Majority of your leaders going to try and set up their next part of the roulette. Now, again, going to be an interesting one for the fuel mileage as we touched upon, but as you can see, most of the field is taking the 4 tires and fuel with these stops. It is Hayes over Holston and Rye down pit road. Behind them, Giugieri and Phillips, Barnes, Lewis, Cochran, Jeff Ryan, Rossi. It's a race off the lane. Again, this is part of the roulette we were expecting for this with some of the flips of the stage. Crowder now gets clean air. Again, he's only led 1 or 2 laps here tonight. He's now led 4. Much of them have come through stage breaks.
And at this point, Justin, you're kind of looking like this race could go either way. We either manage to get ourselves with a good run going here, or we see this race devolve now into a caution fest. These guys have been good, though, in managing to get quite a few green flag runs here, so I'd imagine we're going to be having ourselves a pretty good outing from here to the end.
I think so, and we'll see. Are we going to get to choose? Yes, no, maybe. I don't think so. Especially with a lot of people on the center line, so we'll go again. All of a sudden, the clouds are starting to roll over. We might see the lights turn on pretty soon. Track temp did drop a few degrees since the last time we checked. The cloudy skybox still staying hot enough to be fairly toasty outside. Let's put it this way, if you're in the broadcast booth without AC, it'd be somewhere around 90 degrees. It's still a pretty hot day if you're a broadcaster. By the way, it's 90 degrees in my broadcast office, that's why I know that right now, give or take. Anyhow, let's see what happens here. It looks like this time we will choose. And Tommy Ryan amongst those saying, I'm going to stay away from this line after what's happened here tonight.
I don't blame him. We want to make sure you don't get a penalty. It would be a bit of an embarrassment to have that penalty come about and mess up your night this late in the game. But we will have 83 laps to go when we go to green flag racing here, Justin. And so far, there's been cautions, yeah, but it hasn't felt like an excessive amount, if that makes sense.
It hasn't been a flurry of wrecks or anything like that, absolutely. It's been what you would expect, really, for the short track race. Not too many cautions, not too many massive runs, we'll say, but it's been relatively respectful for the most part. And that's why we still have all but a couple drivers still in the lead lap. Let's find out, though, with 83 to go this time, how much this field wants this. Will we get a long run? Will we get some caution? Some of the drivers up at the front, remember, rolling the dice. Going to be interesting on their fuel mileage. If we do go full distance, off and away goes Crowder. King did not go.
Side by side, third place on down. Zachary King, Harold Tucker the third. Still races hard to the outside wall for the number 1 at King. That's going to be the big one in the back straightaway. A multi-car pileup out of left field.
So about that relatively solid run.
Yeah, I'll take the blame on that one.
And Zachary King amongst those with a blown motor here with the yellow flag. Reset with a lot of damaged race cars. Let's see what happened.
Just pushed up the racetrack like the 79 of Harold Tucker wasn't there, and it was on.
They didn't give him cause. Strike 1 for Zachary King.
Hard to blame these guys for putting the responsibility on that. There's a secondary incident behind as these guys were all just trying to check up to avoid the incident.
And a few drivers missing their stalls. Jeff Ryan, I think, is getting service. Don't think the boxes necessarily line up fully here, but all the more laps to burn if you're some of those rolling the dice on strategy for saving the fuel mileage. Hearing Taylor in the 20 was involved in some of the chaos. Let's see what happened.
Almost got it stuck, and not quite. It just saw the smoke. He was checking up. It just, at that point, it's too little, too late.
Speeding Jeff Rye. See what happened to Holston.
Ow!
He tried to go to the inside. That didn't work.
No, sir, it did not. So, quick caution to put us back under the yellow flag here this afternoon, as they're going to have to do this all over again. Here's the choose cone, or the choose process in progress. There we go. Found the word. Says no dramas this time for the looks of things.
King did use the faster pair, by the way. And as we go, coming up, going to be a 77 lap to go restart with the 44 and the 4, door to door. They'll take one to green. Crowder look to control the pace here yet again. And what has been an interesting storyline to watch here in this series. He'll set up in control for this restart. Hubbard, Tucker the third behind him, along with Tommy Ryan and Ripper Hayes. Sherry, Barnes, Cochran, Rossi, Cook. His car is off, or at least speeding off to go off. Look how much Hubbard's trying to push them up the hill this time. They are not going to the bottom. Crowder got a decent fire off, gets himself clear, and holds on in front as the first battle is for third.
Cruising off into turn numbers 1 and 2. Bit of 3 wide behind. Crowder not getting a good launch as Hubbard, oh, in trouble again up the road. It's Harold Tucker this time into the outside wall, and he nearly gets caught head on. One more comes sliding in, and right at the tail end, the 76 of Alex Young did get him. It was the 21, by the way, the other car that went spinning off the road.
There was a secondary incident again. This time it was Jeff Ryan, who behind that incident also hit Dave Billings and then went around. He took some heavy hits. Kander, Alonso's taking a black flag in sim with incident points. Let's see what happened. That was on his own for the 79's case.
Weird. You would have thought for sure the way that car was kind of getting angled up there that he would have had some help.
Absolutely. But in this case, that's cause. But remember, there's a second pileup, and then just drive straight into it.
You know, there's always there's a bit of a saying, right? Aim for the smoke, the crash will be gone by the time you get there. It doesn't work when the car isn't moving.
Drivers on race control are now saying you have to stop and slow down for a wreck is what they're saying. 76 to the rear.
That's something that I feel like shouldn't need to be said, but here we are.
And remember, that's partly because of this situation with the 3.
Wow. Oh, boy. They had just about every car in there except the hot dog cart.
Let's see what the Polish drivers see. Oh, that was a tight squeeze.
And when you get squeezed in the middle like that, there's just nothing you can do about it. I mean, he did absolutely nothing wrong in all of that. Great job to avoid that on the inside twice in the midst of all of that.
Cars 79, 76 amongst those with penalties this yellow flag. And so we've gone from longer runs to caution, caution, caution. Now, they've said it's actually Alex Young who's got the penalty. Harold Tucker III was not supposed to get one. So
sense.
now, as we'll try this again, Holston Samunso's still getting damage repair. It's now to where, with the choose this time, the more restarts we get, the more the tires become, I would say, indifferent, Nolan, because you'll have a ton of heat cycles at the rate we're going. The more heat cycles you put into the car's tires, well, what can I say? The more heat cycles, the more it equalizes things out where you don't have as big of differences unless you get a longer run.
There's a distinct chance that this race could devolve even further from here to the end, but I don't know. I mean, could go either way. It'll be, what, a 70-lap dash when we go back green? So there's still a chance these guys could come out of here and have a pretty decent night.
And remember, Hubbard tried to keep Crowder up the racetrack in the last restart zone. He's trying to time it up pretty well. Feels confident to be able to try and duke it out with the former eNASCAR Coke driver. Door to door, coming up to 70 laps to go. Oh, they nearly turned each other by accident. Hubbard this time getting pushed down by Crowder. Haynes on the door, green, green, green. We're backing away.
Crowder again, a good launch up on the top side here. Noah Hubbard tucking in line with the number 2 spot, but he's under pressure from Tommy Ryan. Ryan trying to see if he can't force the issue up on the top side of the racetrack. 3 wide behind. And again, we're going to send cars around. I feel like a little bit of net code having to play into that one.
But we're still green. Was able to hold on. Race lead. Pressure is on for the 99 for the lead, and Crowder's around. Crowder's in the wall. Crowder from the race lead. Caution is out as he stops.
Oh, you're kidding me. That's now, what, 3 cautions back to back to back where we haven't made them more than 2 or 3 laps. And I'm sure race control is going to get a little bit more frustrated with these guys after all this. This was the initial close call with the Cessna number 8. And then it fell apart for Crowder a little bit further down the road.
See this again. I can't tell if there was a touch or not. If there was no touch, he definitely sent it deep. And then he slows down to try and get the caution. Or at least it appeared that way.
On board. He gave him, I feel like it's very, very close. I'm not sure if he got him or not.
That is going to be the difference of maybe a foot at best. Got to make sure. If you're in control. Tommy Ryan's coming down anyway, it looks like. They are saying Tommy Ryan did touch. Looks like he knew it was coming, and Tommy Ryan is down pit road. Strike 1 for Tommy Ryan. Said internet or not, Nolan, if there was net code, if there was any distance, they said it would have exaggerated it. They said you still have to be careful with this close racing.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. A lot of net code causing Crowder to go into the outside wall there.
EOL, as we said for the 99 from that, he always went to pit road either way. Ripper Hayes is the next challenger for Noah Hubbard, by the way. Ripper Hayes, a little bit fresher tires. You see how close it got for that. That was a speed up, if anything. So it's like he got pushed more than hit.
That's one of those situations where you just kind of got to look at that and just slump back in a little bit of disbelief as to what you've just witnessed, right? It's like, what do you even do with that?
And So that is going to be one of the moments that both those drivers will think about after this one. And choose, choose, choose. Hubbard, Hayes, Giucherri, Cochran, Cook, Rossi, Phillips, Lewis, Chefroy, Kime. Top 10 for the choose. And Noah Hubbard going to feel a lot of pressure now with some of these drivers swarming up in the next few moments here. 63 to go. And I don't think Tommy Ryan chose again. He was very close. Is there a third strike for choose violations?
We might be about to find out. It's not something that you get all that often, right? But when you do, it's one of those cases of, really? How do you make the same mistake 3 times over in one race?
No penalty this time, but this is how close it was. Remember, you already had one. This slow-mo is brought to you by Turtles. And oh my goodness, that was just about on top of the line.
One more line late and he would have been caught for sure.
So the chaos has been unleashed in stage number 3. Field said, who needs these cars again? We're going to destroy them. 62 to go. Hubbard's off and away. Hayes onside the 15. Hayes clears for second. Pressure is on for third. As now Cochran, who still has the damage from earlier on in stage 2, if anything, trying to take over third. Near contact.
Near miss. They're able to more or less get it underneath them, though, so still have time for this one to either devolve or develop. We'll have to see how this one will pan out. A lot of action yet to be had. 60 laps to go this time by at the line. And as they are now single file coming around, boy, River Hayes tried to look to the inside of Hubbard and nearly took him out.
Black flag for the 8. Remember, had reached incident points. He's been just told drive through pit road for the penalty. Oh, wow, Hayes looking for an air setup. He had one poke already. He's taking a second. Not close enough for the send quite yet. They have told Dominic Rossi, drop to the tail, technical issues. Hayes for the lead.
Oh, dear. And yet again, drivers encountering some problems with tech issues tonight. It has not been the first one. I would reckon it's probably not going to be the last either. I'm sure some drivers getting a little bit more frustrated at the multitude of tech issues that there's been over the last little while. But what are you going to do other than just buckle down and keep racing?
Absolutely, and right now we're seeing how much some of the drivers going to push, like JP Phillips here. Able to send it. Ashton Crowder, he's already to 11th. He is looking to charge through this field with a vengeance. He's up towards the rear end of Zachary King for the top 10 now. Backstretch, caution is out. And 77, Zach White.
Zach White again going around to the tail end of the field. This is what happened to him, and all by himself noses it into the inside wall, though.
EOL, Zach White. I don't know what to say. He was low by a lane and a half.
Got to feel for drivers when they have these moments, right? Because, I mean, it's one of those cases where, I mean, what are you supposed to do other than just kind of try to lock it down and hope for the best? But sometimes you can do everything right and still come out in the red.
Free pass this caution. First stop in a while. It's getting someone back in the lead lap, I believe. It's Adam Holston. Boyd's the only air driver on lap down now left. Averaging 2 or more. And again, restarts will re-bunch up this field. And a lot of these drivers obviously don't want to go down pit road at this point, Nolan, because some of them still have a couple sets. Now, one thing to note, Dominic Rossi ignored the call from race control so far because he was told drop to the rear. He said, I'm moving to the top. And after that, he only by 2 spots. So Dominic Rossi has been told, you have to go back to the rear. You have to drop to the tail end, just in case anything happens again. Because as we've seen, disaster can strike quickly here if you have a tech issue.
Play with fire as well. If you're not going to listen to race control's instructions, sooner or later, they're going to make you listen. So not something I'd be playing around with personally. When race control gives you an order, you follow it. Doesn't matter if you think it's right or wrong.
Exactly. Sees Hubbard and Hayes choose the outside. I mean, I don't hate the call. I don't know about you, Nolan, but because outside off the corner has been pretty solid if you get the momentum at least. Now it comes to question, can Hayes clear the 15, then set its sights on passing the 4?
I'll have to see. Still have a long way to go, and a lot could happen either way in this race. Do you think we get those longer green flag runs that we saw earlier? Because I gotta be honest, I'm starting to lose some faith in that notion.
It's turned into an interesting one in regards to some of the drama, some of the contact. In the case of Hubbard, though, remember, he's just here to have fun. He's only in his 4th start of the season. He's been on the podium once. Today is an opportunity, if he can hold on here somehow for 51 more laps after this restart. Trying to get his first win in this series this season. Back it away. The inside got it timed up pretty well, though. However, it's Hayes. Still trying to clear. And now it's the 15 with an issue.
The 15 still able to hold on to it here as the 50 laps to go mark is hit. We are officially past the 3/4 mark of this race. Further behind, side by side for the number 4 spot. As yet again, Jacob Cochran under fire, trouble behind, and we're piling them up again. A lot of cars around and checking them out of turn 2.
Running out of Lego bricks in terms of the contacts also. And we're back under yellow. Christian Barnes, I think, was involved in a bit of a stack up, I think you could say, because he was fighting with Pelfrey. Tommy Ryan was right behind him. Pelfrey got down.
That's again, I don't know. It's a tricky situation to be in, right? Because, I mean, at what point do you have to just accept that you're not making that and back out of the move versus at what point, if you're the car above, do you recognize that you have a car to your inside and you have to make way for them?
Yeah. Virgin Cotton Muscles taking some heavy contact there, obviously, with this caution flag. 16 incident points for Christian Barnes, just said on the radio, by the way. He is 1 away from having to serve a penalty from the sim. A couple of drivers are in that boat, like Chris Taylor, believe, as well, as we turn laps here. So it's important to mention with the penalties, if you get disqualification, you're at risk of an overall strike that will impact your standing in the series.
Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway has proven to be a bit of a tough customer for most drivers in the back portion of this one. It was looking so good to kick off the night, and you have to wonder, where did it all go wrong?
I mean, there's a commentary curse that hit somewhere in there. I think everyone realized it's time for points. A lot of factors. As, by the way, it's important to think about this here too, Nolan, as we're choosing right now. A major step in all of this is that the Cup Series is going on tomorrow tonight, as well as Storm Chicken's Cup Series is going to have a dramatic one if this is anything that proves like it is going.
I fear is the only way I have to really react to that one. I mean, Nashville Fairgrounds, it goes one of two ways. It's either going to be good or it's going to be iffy. And it's not the only time we're going to Nashville Fairgrounds here on Green Flag TV either. I know the Silver Fox Racing Late Model Stock Championship has a trip scheduled out here a couple months down the line, and this is making me worried for what they're going to have to put up with over the course of the afternoon.
Just checking over the previous data. For those curious, and her race control warned drivers because a couple are getting close to getting a second strike. Things go. Remember, if you get a disqualification, essentially a post-race, puts you at risk for a 1 to 2 week suspension, 10 to 25 point penalty deductions in your series for you and your team. EOL and pass through to begin the next event. You get to a second strike with incident points factored in. You potentially get demoted for this for a while. Back underway. We're at 44 to go. Hubbard up and away. Still back-to-back restarts. Not looking great for Hayes from the outside, but he will try the inside for second.
Now, will he be successful is the big question. Hayes has shown a lot of momentum from that inside line before this race, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was able to make something work. Trying to go up around the long way here. See, Cruz is back into turn numbers 3 and 4. Hayes will pull clear from the inside line. Not something we've seen too much tonight, but yet again proving it is still very much possible.
48 drive through. I wonder if he reached incidents too. It's coming on down, and there's a lot of drivers serving penalties right now. That's why you see a lot of back and forth going on. A few drivers have completed the pass-through penalties as Morgan Cook, again, it's been a top 10 car when he's not been fighting the race car or having contact or damage. Solid points day for Morgan.
And Morgan Cook's been kind of just running his own race. Not too much to complain about for him on the afternoon. He's been kind of around some of the melee, but he's been having a pretty okay day. Ashton Crowder having a pretty good recovery drive as well. Remember, he got put into the wall by Netcode several laps ago. Had to get a bit of damage repaired. He's now back up into a top 5 spot.
Yeah, up to the 4th position. His speed, keep it up the same as the race leaders. Now, that a bit of confusion. Adam Holston has blended up in front of the battle for 3rd position. So not only does Crowder need to make the pass for 3rd, he's going to have to pass lap traffic now that, again, is trying to get the lap back the hard way.
Hey, you know the drill. Make them work for it. If they want it, they think they can get around you, make them do it the hard way. And that is exactly what we are seeing started to develop here as Ashton Crowder trying to do everything he can to keep these guys at bay. Crowder down the inside of Jonathan, still racing for 3rd, gets the nose ahead, but the 15 able to just get a bit more momentum to hold on to the spot at the line.
He's having a hard time clearing this. See how much he's trying to give a little bit of space there. Not enough to overcrowd, but he's just making the 15 have to work for this. Some of the close door-to-door action by the back straight away. And if you want to be good, you have to have the car awareness of where your door is going to be, whether on your fenders. And this time Crowder takes away P3. Coming up 34 to go. He needs to gain about a 1.5, 2 seconds to get there. Christian Barnes driving on eggshells at this point forward, and we talked about with incident points. He's right now riding behind that downtown auto sales machine of Dustin Lewis, still in the battle for ninth.
Around through 3 and 4. Christian Barnes having to put in some work. Phillips thought about an attack down the inside of Cochran. No joy for him as he had to back out when he saw Cochran coming back down the racetrack. Also have Tommy Ryan still in the fray, still trying to make something happen up on the top side. Ryan's got the run round the top side of 4. He is through into 6th.
Tommy Ryan doing well in his recovery. Ryan Pelfrey, who was up as high as 2nd earlier, battling up with Jeff Ryan, still for the 11th position in the battle of Aardvark. I believe it's the number font, not Aardvark. It's a number font. What I'm trying to say. That is through the iRacing paint shop. Pelfrey has the spot. In our news, Barnes has gotten around for the 9th position on the outside. 30 to go.
30 laps in this one. Still have plenty of time to close this one down and put together a solid outing right at the tail end of the circuit. On board with Giotri as Jonathan holding on to the outside. Thought for a moment Cochran might get him as they came out of turn 4. He's getting to that back bumper. I think he would go for the nudge, but hold on, around we go, and the 15 goes around.
No caution yet. They're all keeping it straight. And Jacob Cochran, a little bit displeasure on the radio. Everyone kept it steady. Ryan, however, has some damage. And a couple others from this. I don't know what to say.
Boy. Yeah, you and me both. A pretty nasty lick into the wall for a couple of drivers on that deal. What is it? I mean, what is it with this field and the race we've had today? Because it has just been a mess ever since we got to stage number 3. It's somehow no caution. Now it's out. Another crash.
That was new with the caution on screen. Dustin Lewis is the caution this time. It looks like that's because Morgan Cook went around. Morgan Cook says, just give me my penalty.
By himself. Oh, he did catch the 88 in the midst of that of Dustin Lewis, though.
Race control confirmed it. And Morgan Cook is having a time. Now what do you do? Here's a look at the replay again.
The answer is a resounding yes. I mean, I don't know what to tell you here, Justin.
It's
such a toss-up.
We see a lot of people taking tires, but we have at least 5 who stay out here. That includes Hubbard on 74-lap tires. Question? Hearing 2 tires, Tommy Ryan. Ryan took an 8-second stop despite being involved just now in that contact. If you use the 2 right sides, and I think you use the faster pair also, that would make more sense.
I'm just kind of throwing my hands up into the air at this point when it comes to trying to figure out the strategy calls. I mean, the whole race has just evolved in the last little while. So what can you do other than just work with what you got and hope for the best?
My only thought, if you're Hubbard, is let's have more cautions, please. Because this is similar to a strategy we've seen a couple times in the NASCAR. It's a strategy we see in a lot of league races. You're hoping for chaos behind. You're not involved in it. But the track light's now on, by the way. Here's the thing. Crowder, for the 2nd time tonight, has gone from back just about to front. And he has 30-lap fresher tires. Tommy Ryan's fresher right sides are right behind the 4 for the restart. Tires, it's got to be a factor, right?
You'd have to imagine so. 22 laps, 21 laps to go green, though. That's not a lot of time to get these tires back into a working temperature, let alone fight it out for the spots. And with how the 3rd stage has gone all night long, I think we're just going to keep seeing the same stop-start, stop-start nature. I don't think these drivers are ever going to have a chance to get those tires back up to temp.
Again, that's the gamble and a half for the 4. If you do the math, before we even get to green, white, checker territory here, you would have at least time for at least 2 or 3 restarts in that sequence. So at the very minimum, You hope to get a couple restarts, hold back the pack, get to the white flag, hold back whoever's charging you the final lap, and take the race win for your first win of the season. A lot of things have to happen. And he is doing this with 2 sets still down pit road. Ready to go. Hubbard, Crowder, Ryan, Pelfrey, Hayes, Giucherri, Barnes, Cochran, Phillips, and Lewis are your top 10. Green, green, green. A little bit of a wiggle. He spun him a little. Can he cover off the inside? Didn't take the chance to cover it off, and Crowder now tries to dig for second. Restart is under review.
Cannot say I am too terribly surprised at that one, as sooner or later this restart was going to end up under review by one of these starts. Overall, let's continue to have the good scrap here as Ashton Crowder, Tommy Ryan still side by side for second and third. Right behind them, River Hayes. Oh, contact between Crowder and Hayes as Crowder, I think, put himself into the wall on that one.
Trying to clear in front of Hayes, didn't happen. Here comes Tommy Ryan. Hubbard needs a caution in a bad way. Restart is good. Crowder keeps it straight with a slap to the wall. He's dropped to 4th. Remember, he's got near 50 lap old tires and is feeling the brunt of this with under 20 to go. Hubbard parking in front. Here comes Hayes for second. Caution is out.
Saw that one coming, and
Jeff Ryan. And Morgan Cook said he's parking it.
I hate to say it, I can't even blame him.
Well, there is a reason for that. I think there is I'd say 95% chance he was involved. Yes.
Up the racetrack and around, up against the outside wall. You hate to see a race going down the way it did. I mean, this has been such a good way to kick off the first 2 stages, and then yet Morgan Cook sends her in and going to clean out the number 3 into turn number 3 on that deal. That caution coming out just as River Hayes reset fastest lap of the race.
I'm almost tempted to see if Morgan wants to go to the broadcast booth and pull a Neil Bonnet or something. But in all seriousness, though, we're coming up to 15 to go. There's stage 1 needed for Hubbard. Get the caution, rebunch up the field. Now you rinse and repeat and profit. That's basically what the goal is here, because Ryan and Hayes were fighting pretty aggressively, and the more they potentially battle off these restarts, the more that helps the 4.
It'll be under 15 to go when we go back to the green flag. Realistically, we'd only have about, 2 or 3 more cautions in us before we go to overtime. And any chance on us getting a long green flag run have been dashed a while ago. At this point, even strategy-wise, it's just been pretty much a free-for-all with only 14 cars on the lead lap.
And so, we'll try this here in the next few moments. We did have pit stops. Ashton Crowder was one of them. Restarting 11th on the freshest tire set. Probably not going to see anyone come out down again. Hubbard on the outside. Ryan well to the inside. Christian Barnes is up here too. Remember, if he gets involved in any contact, he is toast. Cherry's trying to keep it clean. Cochran's up here still. Phillips, Lewis, Moyer, Holston. Amongst those top 10 spots for the shoes. So we're basically having a 12-lap dash. We already know what the play is here, Nolan, for the 4. What do you do if you're the 99 and 81, though? Nolan.
I don't know. My brain has been a bit fried, Justin, after these last 50 laps or so. We got, 12 to go when we go green?
Yes. Second half of the race has been wild. Somebody will go to Sofanu's victory lane. Question is, who will survive to get there? 12-lap battle to the end. Still have 14 on the lead lap. Field gets the green. Ryan timed it up pretty well, though. That might be what he needs. He's alongside the 4. Side by side for the lead. Hubbard squeezes. Hubbard didn't clear, though. Ryan still trying to send it.
Boy, they thought about 3 wide for the lead there for a moment. River Hayes trying to challenge through, looking for the outside of Tommy Ryan. Hubbard still side by side, clears into turn numbers 1 and 2. River Hayes now up around the top shelf, trying to challenge the number 2 spot. Ryan got loose on the inside, but still able to fight this one out for the top spots.
Hubbard has the pressure to the inside and from behind. Ryan alongside for the lead. Less than 10 laps to go from the Nashville Fairgrounds. Ryan loose, 3 wide, race lead. Hayes backs out of it. Ryan goes up the track. Hayes nearly spins it. Hayes now sends it for the race lead.
Boy, a lot of mind games being played by River Hayes as he nearly sends Hubbard into turn number 1. Moves him up the racetrack. Here comes Hayes on the inside. A big charge down the back straightaway. And Hayes, with about a half a tenth of a second, now gets the nose in front.
Hayes trying to get the edge. He got the edge of the line at the very least. Now can he get the nose clear to secure it? Yes. Race leader, River Hayes, under 8 laps to go. Now a bit of a bump.
Hubbard's not done yet as he gives him a shot to the shorts in turn 3.
We have a wreck in the back, up at the wall. It's David Moyer. Under caution, under 7 to go. And for Hubbard, he needed that caution 3 laps ago. But River Hayes, who dominated the first stage and a half up front, Moyer, the cause of yellow, in part with some help, nearly collected a couple others. And did we mention it's unlimited green, white checkers, Nolan, in this series?
Oh, dear. Oh, that is news to me. Oh, boy. Unlimited green, white checkers. Well, let's put it this way, Justin. There's always a reason why most leagues limit it to 2 or 3. But, hey, I'm here for unlimited. Let's see what these guys can do. They haven't really had to use more than 1 or 2 before all season, by my recollection.
Yeah. Here's another look on board. See, this is Reggie Kai. Hello. Moyer to the back. And so, as expected, nobody peeling down here. Beds are made. Noah Hubbard's going to have to try and find a way, any way to do this, Nolan, from second now on 95 lap old tires. I don't know if he's going to have enough gas at the rate he's going. That's the longest anyone's gone.
That said, I mean, he's been doing a good job. There's been a lot of caution laps, a lot of opportunities to save that fuel and really stretch it out under this 3rd stage. And I mean, at this point, if you've stretched the field this far, I think you've made your bed, you got to land. And I mean, you come down now, you're admitted defeat. You're not making your way back up through the whole field in 2 laps.
And we'll get ready for the choose. We're actually, I think, because the extension for the choose, going to get to green, white checker territory now. Choosing right now, we're coming to 3 to go, so with the extension, should take us over overtime. That was close for Hubbard. Ryan nearly did it again, up from 4th. Here we go again. And this will be the first attempt at overtime. If we get to the white flag, it's a race to the checkered. If we get an incident before the white flag, we'll do it again until we take the white flag. If we somehow get to the end of the quote-unquote unlimited, which is about 14, if we get to that point, we might run out of race cars. If we do get to that point, though, it would end under yellow. And by the way, Would you believe it, Ashton Crowder with the chooses at 4th?
Oh boy. You could tell this is hyping up to be one heck of a finish here. River Hayes has been one of the dominant cars today. He's up in front, but Hubbard has been doing a good job on defense all day long. Now we have to see if he's got an answer for offense in the last mile of racing here on the afternoon.
Race control is already reminding drivers, do not wreck each other on the final lap. And now, they'll go up the track for the restart. Good start for Hayes. Rougher one for Hubbard. He blocks the outside. Crowder goes to the inside for second.
Ashton Crowder trying to make something happen here on the inside line. River Hayes taking full advantage and pulling away into turn numbers 3 and 4. Crowder trying to take away the number 2 spot. 1 lap to go for the Fairgrounds.
Final time around. Hayes has what he needs to see in the rearview mirror. A hard fight for second. Crowder, Hubbard, door to door, up to turn 3. River Hayes, just 1 win on the season. He's been consistent on campaign. Second win for Car 81 in 2026. And a wreck for 4th.
Boy, hard shots on the front straightaway, but River Hayes holding on, surviving an onslaught in the final laps to take home the race win. Crowder, good recovery drive for all the attrition that 44 has been through. What a good job on him to come back and take second.
For Crowder, that would end up being 5 top 5s in 6 starts. For Hayes, second win of the season is 11 top 5 already. He's really good with his car. And he gets it done at one of his bread and butters, the short tracks. Shout out to Hubbard, by the way. Second podium finish this season in his part-time appearances in car number 4. So as we get set to post-race coverage in a moment, River Hayes gets the job done over Ashton Crowder tonight. Noah Hubbard, the top 3, they're fighting hard for second. Jonathan Giacherri crashed after the start and finish line, but still gets 4th regardless. Tommy Ryan was near 3/10 back of that in 5th, holding back Christian Barnes, who avoided getting past 16 incidents. JP Phillips and Adam Holston, the top 8. Jacob Cochran down in 9th. Ryan Pelfrey holds on 10th.
Dustin Lewis will come home number 11th on the afternoon. He is joined by Zachary King within 2 seconds of the top runners. David Moyer back in 13th. Reggie Kime in 14th. Dominic Rossi, the final driver to finish on the lead lap in 15th. 1 down, you'll find Jeff Ryan, Brad Collier, Chris Taylor, Harold Tucker III, and 3 down was Alex Young.
21st went to Dave Billings, 4 down. Then you get to the DNFs of the night. Morgan Cook finished off 19 down after being involved in some incidents, getting to the incident black flag at the minimum. Zach White, he needed to have a really good run with him on the bubble. Well, that bubble's starting to pop from 23rd spot. Kander on the rookie debut was in the top 10 part of the way. He finishes a DNF though in 24th. Andrew Schob had a nightmare of a night in 25th. Luke Barnes hit the pit wall early. Brandon Willard starting park to try and work with race control as race control. So he'll take a points tumble in 27th. Still waiting for the drivers to peel on down. They are all set for Sopanu's victory lane, where tonight River Hayes is the one who takes the checker flag. Just the second win of the season. It's felt like more when it comes to the 81. But tonight, River, it was you that put up the speed. You led 63 laps tonight. How are you feeling about getting another win this time on the short track?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I feel like we've let a lot of wins this season slip away from us. I really wanted to get one last night as well and just fell up short. So this one feels good. I got to go back and see what happened with Ashton there with about 20 to go. I'm pretty sure he wasn't clear, but I don't really know. Yeah, I thought we were screwed there with about 50 to go. I was like, I don't think I'm going to pit again because if you get back in traffic, there's just no time to get back up here. And Hubbard was pretty equal to me. I could get to him, but I couldn't get around him. So I was really happy to see that I drug a lot of people down there with about 25 to go. That really saved me. I think if I would have gotten back in traffic, it would have been a really difficult time getting back up there. So overall, really good night. Everybody raced pretty clean up front. I don't really know what was going on back there, but it got messy there at the end. I wish we could have had a really long run. I think we would have seen the field spread out a lot more, and we would have had more tire strategy there. But overall, really good night.
Absolutely. And I will ask this. In your opinion, what happened to the race from where you were in control in the first couple stages? Whatever happened in the third stage, in your opinion, to where it turned to a madhouse?
I think it's just, everybody gets anxious, right? Everybody wants to claw their way position-wise, and once we get cautions and stuff, it's like one guy falls out, and then, it's just anticipating a caution fest is what creates a caution fest, right? So everybody's trying to advance position on each caution, driving over their head, stuff like that. So it can get messy really quickly, and once it gets to that point, it's hard to calm it back down. I don't really know. I felt like even the stage cautions kind of created chaos, because at the end of the day, it's another caution, right? So the first stage was great. We had a lot of green flag run there, and I felt like we could actually race and see who had what on long run. But ultimately, it just wasn't how it was meant to be.
So with that being said here, we're still going to be obviously up in the top 3 points. Things looking comfortable there. But Chicago Street Course is a wild card a bit. How do you feel about going back to Chicago?
Yeah, that's going to be something. Only real experience I have there is probably on NASCAR 25. So I'm going to have to do some laps and figure that place out. And I think hopefully we'll get a top 10 and continue to edge out the points gap between me and Tommy. And tonight was one of those nights where we really executed the points. So it's going to be close.
Any shout you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, I want to shout out Smith's Race Development, Ryan Pelfrey, my teammate, and you guys for putting on a good show. Thank you.
Herbert Hayes gets the job done here tonight. Gets the victory here in this one, as he mentioned. Got Pelfrey also scoring points amongst those on the sheet categories. We'll touch upon that next week a bit. But Ashton Crowder was the one who almost got there, got into a hard fought battle in the end for second. He's with Nolan.
Ashton, what a fight in the closing stage there, and what a comeback drive as well. From all the attrition you encountered early in the race, to finish second, not a bad day at the office. Talk us through it.
Yeah, no, not bad at all. I really struggled yesterday in the little truck race, finished third there. Obviously, horrible day if you're finishing top 5, right? But it felt like a struggle the whole time, and then to be honest with you, this one felt super, super easy. And when they feel easy, they turn into not very quickly. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, had that spin. Like it seemed like I wasn't gonna go around, but I mean, and I'm not blaming Tommy at all. He didn't do it intentionally or anything like that. It seemed like I just got like a weird burst of energy when he touched me, but like it hit me so hard. It was either I like kind of go into a drift and like almost back it in, or I'm gonna go like head first into the wall. And I was like, if I go head first, I'm blowing the motor probably, and then I'm gonna cry. But if I just rip the spoiler off, we got a fast repair and I can go again. And but then essentially like back to front challenge there. It felt like an ARCA race. Yeah, it was crazy. I had my boy Thomas Keene. He spots for a plethora of people. He does a really great job in real life. Works with the Alpha Prime a lot too, and that's the connection there. And he was spotting for me, and man, he does a terrific job. We've known each other, not to get on a tangent here, but we've known each other for a really long time. Actually, quick story. I was at Charlotte Motor Speedway with him and his girlfriend at the time, and we were like walking across the road, and like right in front of the track, and I got hit by a car, and like had to go to the hospital and everything, and like my back was all like messed up, and like my foot was all messed up and stuff. So like I was in I was in rough shape. But that was like the day of the Xfinity race, because the 600 was the next day, and he and his girlfriend pretty much like took care of me the rest of the time, and dang near carried me for the 600 day. It just kind of tells you what kind of person he is. Just really terrific guys. So I was hoping we could win for him, but unfortunately it's just a spot short. But top 5 at the end of the day is nothing to complain about. So I'm really happy.
Talk us through the strategy call, because when a lot of drivers were coming down pit road, especially at the ends of the stages, you were one of the few that was opting to stay out. What was the decision behind the call that not a lot of drivers agreed with today?
Which lap again?
Most likely at the end of the stages, both of them.
Oh yeah. Well, I know one of the times I stayed out because I figured a lot more would, and that's kind of what put me on the back foot initially. And River cleaned my clock. Really, he got it perfectly and had the strategy there. But a shout out to him for that. But the stages wise, let me check real quick before I say something that's wrong. Okay, so the setup we were running yesterday had 45 PSI on the right side tires, so that may explain that. I thought this was the 1.5 mile tire, but I suppose it's not. Dang, if I would have known that, then I would have adjusted. Okay, anyways, I thought it was the 1.5 mile tire, which now I know it wasn't. And I figured it was hard enough to where it really wouldn't matter. Up until the last lap there, my fastest lap of the race was like 80 laps on tires, or 70 or something like that. So they really didn't matter too terribly much. This really isn't like that high load of a track. It's, I mean, it is, but it isn't. It doesn't really energize the tread all that much, and especially like the carcass of the tire, it doesn't really get worked. It does if you slide it, so it really like it gives the feeling of a hard tire. It's kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like the tire that they have in real life in O'Reilly for the road courses. Like they feel very hard. They're not extremely, but like they really don't fall off until you start sliding them, and that's what this was really. You just couldn't slide them. So early in the race, I mean, I don't think there was a lap until I think I was running P2 to maybe no. I don't think there was a lap where I was pushing harder than like 50%, just to make sure I wouldn't slide them. So yeah, that was the whole long story, but that was the whole thought process there, and I felt like it was pretty good, and yeah, I was happy with it, but you know, cautions kind of make it hard to see how it really shakes out, I suppose.
Well, wish you the best of luck whenever we see you on the track. A big good luck as well for the Slim Chickens Cup Series, and we'll see you whenever we see you on track next.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Ashton Crowder coming home number 2 with one heck of a comeback drive. Justin, moving on down to Noah Hubbard. Gave it everything in the closing stages. You're standing by with our 3rd place finisher.
He went the longest out of anybody on a stint, 100 laps. Noah, have to ask, how in the world did you make enough fuel with a 60% fuel tank?
I just saved fuel. I was only, I think after I made that pit stop there to flip the stage, I think I was about 6 laps short, and then with all the cautions brought in there, I started the stage about, I think it's about 3 laps short, and then time we got all those cautions, you know, I ended up having about 15 laps to the good there at the end with all the cautions we had. It was just all about saving fuel there when we had the cautions.
How difficult was it to try and hold back the pack on the older tires too? Because we're talking differences between drivers behind you of up to 75 laps.
Yeah, we had that long run, and then I think we had a caution around somewhere around lap 30, 35, if I'm not mistaken. And I was debating if I wanted to pit or not, but I also knew that we would have more cautions. just because getting late at the end of the race, short track, so we're bound to have more cautions. And track position here is pretty key because it is difficult to pass. So I ended up deciding to stay out, and I just was giving it all I had to hang on. I knew I probably wasn't going to win with strategy, but I knew I could at least get a good finish.
So with that being said here, obviously your second podium in your appearances here in the series. Where else do you plan to run? I don't remember I asked you that before, but what's the plan for the rest of the season now that you've put together some solid performances when you have been here?
Normally I just like to run the tracks that I know I'll enjoy and stuff like that and be pretty decent at. I think next week, if I'm not mistaken, might be the Chicago Street Course. I'll probably try to run that, and then there'll be a few more throughout the season that I'll probably try to jump in and run. If it's not a track I'm going to enjoy, I don't really, feel like sitting here for 2 hours of my time if I'm not, going to enjoy it.
Gotcha. Anyone you want to give a shout out to, I should say, here tonight?
Yeah, my teammate Luke Barnes, he had some trouble this race, and Barnes Performance Engines.
Congratulations on the run tonight.
Thank you.
Noah Hubbard puts it up and covered in the top three. I think the entire top three were speaking with straight post-race coverage here on Green Flag TV. Final thoughts on this one tonight, Nolan, as it went from relatively clean racing to a madhouse in stage 3. But in the end, River Hayes, who won the first 2 stages, sweeps all 3.
Well, at the end of the day, it's a short track race on iRacing that turned into your average short track race on iRacing. I mean, it's one of those things that a lot of drivers, I think, need to compress after this one, and they should have a good opportunity to do just that when we go racing next week in Chicago.
Indeed, and that will be on July the 9th. Remember, an 8:30 p.m. start, give or take, for the Green Flag. Usually we'll be live about 5 minutes prior to that for the Castle Glass Company Series here on Green Flag. But it's just about time to say goodnight for tonight's coverage. I'm Justin Prince. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in for tonight's coverage. From our co-announcer Nolan Rampo, for our producer Dustin Ollis, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching tonight's coverage of the MRL here from Nashville Fairgrounds. We'll see you next week from the Windy City.